Kirsty Guzmau has come a long way from Bendigo. Beginning her humanitarian campaign as an overseas aid worker in Jakarta, continuing with the Timorese resistance movement, and now a champion of women's issues.
I have access to people in positions of authority and people that do have sway in making, policy and setting agendas.
In 10 years of independence, this country has made plenty of progress towards gender equality, a strong focus of Australian government assistance in East Timor. There's a real commitment by all political parties to ensure women are well represented in Parliament, enabling issues to be tackled from the top down.
So it's bringing in new ideas and promoting a different set of principles for a population that's half women and half men. I think it's going to help us develop a lot better and faster.
It simply has to. The streets of the capital, Dili, provide plenty of reminders of a very fragile country. Burned out buildings and a heavy police presence. Everyday traffic dominated by United Nations vehicles. A visible indicator of East Timor's heavy dependence on foreign assistance. A sad history of violence, maternal and infant mortality, unemployment and alarming literacy rates amongst women, stemming from generations suppressed under a patriarchal society, as well as the conditions of war, has this emerging nation coming off a very low base for women's rights.
The issue of violence against women is huge here. I mean, it was the single most reported crime throughout the period of the transition to independence, and our justice system is not responding adequately to the needs of women. But that will change.
One of these changes is the number of men joining the cause. This group calls itself the AMKV, Men Against Violence, with over 1,000 members.
Hanya sang community organizer kan lebih kami grup lebih kami kria sekitar 1,000.
Around Lakisa, scene of one of the worst massacres in the conflict a decade ago, residents are being trained to mediate internal disputes, taking the legal system into the villages on issues like property disputes and domestic violence.
Maksudnya, siramos bele berperan sebagai mane e sebagai fetomos. Siramos bele iha balanço nebehanesang entre feto humane.
Kate Oliveri is an Australian volunteer working in the government's gender unit.
The thing is that there is so much to be done. Everyone has a lot of enthusiasm, but there is so much to be done. There is endemic violence against women, domestic violence against women.
To highlight these issues, Australia has partnered with USAID in training a new breed of female journalists.
A lot of them might be victims of violence at home. So that's a way for them to talk and expose everything.
In the 10 short years since independence, the people of East Timor have been able to achieve more than most in the area of gender equality. In fact, their enthusiasm is plain to see. But it appears that in some other key issues affecting women, a little more patience may be necessary. Maternal health remains an enormous issue, a problem with very deep cultural roots.
Timor has one of the highest rates of infant and maternal mortality in the world, the highest fertility rate in the world, with an average 8 children per family, something like 200 times the rate of under 5 mortality compared with Australia. Alarming statistics.
It's kind of insurance for people. I mean, if a woman has 6 children and then has a difficult birth with the 7th and dies of an infection because she couldn't get proper midwife assistance, then at least the father still had 6 children.
The biggest step, it seems, is to finally have women's issues firmly on the political agenda, giving rise to optimism.
Absolutely, yep. No, I feel overwhelmingly optimistic and hopeful at this particular point in time.
Most importantly, East Timor's women are now demanding progress. Past records on gender issues are simply too painful for some.
I would like to see no more tears in the women's face. The tears of the injustice and the tears of the violence. I didn't want to see that anymore. It's enough.